It was like, my God, I've actually met the Queen, and it was amazing.
Simon Cowell is a name synonymous with sharp criticism, bold decisions, and immense success. He's made millions of dreams come true, but just as quickly, he's dashed hopes with a single, stinging line. For years, Simon was a giant in the entertainment industry, shaping music, discovering talent, and building an empire of TV franchises like American Idol and The X Factor. But behind the iconic tough judge image was a man facing personal challenges, heartbreak, and moments of profound vulnerability. At 65, his life today looks vastly different from the public persona fans once adored. This is the story of Simon Cowell, the highs, the lows, and the untold battles he faced behind the spotlight. Early life and family roots. Simon Philip Cowell was born on October 7, 1959, in Lambeth, London. His upbringing was marked by a unique blend of cultures, with his mother, Julie Brett, being a former ballet dancer and socialite, and his father, Eric Cowell, working in property development and as a music executive. This fusion of backgrounds shaped Simon's early years, blending the artistic and business worlds. He had a somewhat chaotic childhood with multiple half-siblings, and his schooling experience wasn't conventional. Simon attended various schools, never truly finding his place, and struggled academically. He eventually dropped out of college, but his interest in the entertainment world remained strong. Despite various failed attempts at careers, Simon's drive to succeed eventually led him to EMI, where he started working in the mailroom, setting the stage for his future in the music industry. The struggles of early career and financial collapse. Simon's early career was a mix of ambition and harsh realities. After leaving EMI, Simon ventured into launching his own music company, Fanfare Records, in 1985. Though he had initial success with acts like Sunita's So Macho, the company's fate took a downturn due to mounting debts. The failure of Fanfare led to the repossession of his Porsche, a painful reminder of how quickly success can slip away. By the age of 28, Simon found himself broke and living with his parents, a humbling experience that deeply influenced his approach to business. Simon later confessed he wanted everything to happen instantly, but the financial crash served as a wake-up call. However, he didn't let failure define him. Simon made a comeback by joining BMG Records and later creating S Records, which propelled him back into success. His ability to learn from mistakes marked the beginning of a major turning point in his career. The rise to global fame and influence. By the late 1990s, Simon Cowell had shed his image as just a struggling music executive and emerged as a global television personality. His success with pop acts like Westlife and Five was significant, but it was television that truly launched Simon into superstardom. In 2001, he became a judge on the British version of Pop Idol, which paved the way for American Idol in the US. The format turned out to be a massive hit and made Simon a household name. With his biting critiques, quick wit, and blunt honesty, Simon became the ultimate TV judge, a role that audiences either loved or hated but couldn't ignore. He followed this success with the creation of The X Factor and America's Got Talent, both of which became global franchises, making Simon a dominant force in both television and music. His empire grew exponentially, cementing his status as one of the most influential figures in entertainment. Personal struggles and the heartbreak of losing parents. Despite Simon's professional success, his personal life was marred by tragedy. The death of his father Eric in 1999 hit Simon hard. He was celebrating the success of the boy band Westlife when he received the devastating news. The trip back to England was agonizing for him, as his father never got to witness Simon's rise to fame. Then, in 2015, Simon's mother, Julie, passed away at the age of 89, leaving him reeling. he admitted that losing his mother was one of the worst moments of his life, a feeling made even more profound by the earlier loss of his father. The grief left an indelible mark on Simon, and though he continued to work, the emotional toll was immense. Simon's vulnerability in these moments revealed a side of him few people outside his inner circle ever saw, as he grappled with the loss of the two people who had always been there for him. Complicated love life and relationships. Simon Cowell's relationships have been as much in the public eye as his career. In the early 2000s, he dated British presenter Terry Seymour for several years, but the relationship ended in 2008. His subsequent engagement to makeup artist Mejgan Husseini in 2010 also ended after a few years, with Simon admitting that the engagement had been a mistake. He openly described himself as a hopeless boyfriend and acknowledged that his busy career and emotional limitations contributed to the breakup. The most controversial chapter came when Simon began dating Lauren Silverman in 2013, which caused a media storm due to the fact that Lauren was married to Simon's friend Andrew Silverman at the time. Their relationship made headlines, especially when Lauren and Simon announced they were expecting a child together. Despite the rocky beginnings, Simon and Lauren's relationship endured, and in 2022, they became engaged. This chapter in Simon's life highlighted the challenges he faced in balancing personal and professional life, with public scrutiny always looming. The struggles of depression and emotional health. After the loss of his parents, Simon faced an intense battle with depression. Despite his external success, he admitted on the Diary of a CEO podcast that he was struggling internally. The weight of losing both parents left him feeling empty, and his depression became so severe that he found it difficult to get out of bed. The pressure of being in the public eye while dealing with emotional turmoil only made things worse. Simon gained weight, developed unhealthy habits, and even struggled with sleep, which he later described as a downward spiral. He felt disconnected from his own happiness, admitting that despite his success, he wasn't content. In some of his darkest moments, Simon confessed he didn't care whether he lived or died. It was a deep emotional crisis, and yet the world continued to see him as the sharp, confident TV judge. Finding new hope and purpose through fatherhood. The birth of Simon's son, Eric, in 2014 proved to be a turning point in his life. Becoming a father brought him a new sense of purpose and joy. Simon admitted that without Eric, he wasn't sure where his life would have gone. Fatherhood gave him a new perspective, pulling him out of his depression and helping him find happiness once again. It wasn't just about fame or fortune. It was about the unconditional love and responsibility that came with being a father. Simon often shared how much his son saved him during his darkest moments, and he credited fatherhood with giving him a renewed sense of direction. His relationship with Lauren, despite its controversies, brought stability, and their son became the center of Simon's world, filling the emptiness that success could never fully satisfy. The fear of violated privacy and shocking burglary. In 2015, Simon's life was rocked by a terrifying burglary at his London mansion. The intruder, who managed to steal hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cash and jewelry, made Simon feel deeply unsafe. The burglary was especially unsettling because Simon's 3 Yorkshire Terriers, normally protective, had not made a sound during the break-in. Simon was left shaken by the violation of his privacy and the realization that someone knew intimate details about his life. While the thief was eventually caught, the experience left Simon with a sense of vulnerability he hadn't known before. The incident served as a reminder of how even the most privileged can experience fear and insecurity, marking a rare moment of vulnerability in Simon's otherwise polished public image. A near-death experience and changing perspectives. In 2020, Simon's life was once again put in jeopardy when he suffered a serious back injury after falling off an electric bike. The accident, which required 6-hour surgery and a metal rod being inserted into his spine, could have left Simon paralysed. Though he kept his usual sense of humour about the situation, Simon later admitted how close he had come to a life-changing injury. A year later, Simon faced another crash while cycling in London. This time, he was fortunate to survive with only a broken arm and some scars. These accidents served as a wake-up call for Simon, forcing him to reassess his life and take greater care with his physical health. Despite these setbacks, Simon's resilience and determination to keep living life on his own terms was undeniable, making him more relatable than ever before.